Do you tend to think of your graveyard as a second hand? Does self-mill activate the happy chemicals in your brain? Does the idea of slinging spells often with a huge discount excite you? Then Teval, Arbiter of Virtue just might be the commander for you. Teval, Arbiter of Virtue is a 6/6 spirit dragon with flying and lifelink that gives our spells delve. It also makes us lose life equal to the mana value of spells we cast. Initially I thought X spells, but most of them just weren't worth the massive life loss I'd be taking for them since their mana value on cast includes what X was worth. Then I realized that Delve also synergizes with alternate costs like Kicker, Flashback, and Overload. So I got to thinking which one of those would be the most abusable with this kind of deck. I ended up deciding on Flashback, since I can use the spells if I mill them, and I can potentially use them twice. The flashback cost also does not affect the mana value of the spell, so if I cast Cackling Counterpart, for example, I'll only lose 3 life regardless of which cost I paid. All in all, the deck runs 19 cards with flashback, all serving different functions and advancing our game plan. That being to fill our graveyard as much as we can with good flashback spells and delve fodder to sling our way to victory. To that end, we have lots of spells like Esper Origins, Chill of Foreboding, Tapping at the Window, Welcome the Dead, Funeral Rites, Tracker's Instinct, Cash Grab, Midnight Tilling, Otherworldly Gaze, Thought Scour, Dreams of Laguna, Dream Twist, and my personal favorite, Memory Sluice. We've also got some creatures that help out with the self-mill plan like Near-Div Devious Diver, Eye Collector, Gorging Vulture, Stitcher Supplier, Cruel Witness, and Deranged Assistant, as well as a couple of non-creature permanents like Perpetual Timepiece and Glacierwood Siege. There's also the enchantment Titan's Nest that pulls double duty by letting us surveil cards into our graveyard while also being a sort of soft redundancy for our commander. We might not be able to cast our artifacts or the 1x spell in the deck, but with an ability so similar to our commanders and the fact that it has extra utility stapled on, this card puts in a lot of work and could honestly be an auto-include for most of all decks that don't include colorless or X spells pretty heavily. Now, all this talk about filling our graveyard is nice, but what about filling our hand? Well, in addition to a few cantrips like Thought Scour, Think Twice, and Dreams of Laguna, we're also running Funeral Rites and the aforementioned Welcome the Dead. We've also got Secrets of the Dead and Archmage Emeritus to give us cards when we cast our spells, with Secrets of the Dead only triggering if it was cast from our graveyard. Speaking of payoffs, we're also running cards like Consuming Aberration, Tal'Ren Sky Summoner, Lord of the Nazgul, and Witherbloom Apprentice. We're also running extra value engines like Tormod the Desecrated, Kishla Skimmer, and Defiled Crypt to generate extra value when we delve away cards or cast them from our graveyard. In addition to the tokens we'll generate off of Tormod, Tal'Ren, and the Crypt, we're also running Elephant Ambush, Retrieve the Esper, Army of the Damned, and Welcome the Dead, which just seems to do everything that this deck likes to do now that I think about it. All in all, this deck can win in a couple different ways. One of which is token overrun. There's milling out our opponents with Consuming Aberration and Glacierwood Siege. There's draining our opponents with a huge Exsanguinate. And then there's good old-fashioned commander damage, which is pretty reasonable to achieve with Teval being a flying 6/6 already. And with cards like Increasing Savagery giving us 5 or 10 +1/+1 counters depending on where we cast it from, we have a very real shot of being able to 1 or 2 shot our opponents. Probably the strongest and by far most expensive card in the deck is Platinum Empyrean. But if you don't want to run him, you can get a Platinum Angel for a few dollars less. Whichever you choose, be sure to bring your boots to protect it. In the event that we do lose the Empyrean to either board wipes or spot removal, we've got Dryad's Revival and Cadaver Lab to get it back. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you built your own Teval Arbiter of Virtue, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. I hope to see you again real soon, and safe travels!